up with, talking to some friends and people in the community and coming up with a way that they could form this alliance and really help make some changes for the young men in our community. So we left off, before we get into the weekend event that you're going to be having, I wanted to kind of take you back for a minute. The first question that I do want to ask before we even get into what's going to be going on is, why is it so important for our youth to have a mentor?
I think I lost him. He had to call back. He's not online. Tell him to stay. It's going to break.
That's me.
Okay, we got you. Okay, yes, sir.
Can you hear?
Okay, I can hear you now. So go ahead and start over the comment. Sorry, audience, for the slight, what do we call it, technical difficulties. Let's keep moving.
Okay. All right. So it's important for our young African American males to have a mentor, because everyone does not have someone in their life that they can actually model to look at. Sometimes we always wonder, well, why did my son sag his pants? Is it just because, the music videos? But if they never had someone in front of them to show how you're supposed to dress, how you're supposed to be suited and booted, how you're supposed to walk, or how you're supposed to greet a young lady when you see them, if they never see that, then they don't have anything. They don't have a reference point.
Right.
So if, as far as our men empowering now, we gathering up men that they can do something right now. They use their resources, their talents, and like-minded men who want to see other young men progress. And that's what we want to do. So that's why it's very important for our young African-American boys to have a mentor.
And I think that is amazing, and that was such a great example of what is needed in our community. So with that being said, last year, your organization focused on, the police brutality, and you provided some examples of what took place and why this all came, about. Now, your company has grown in the midst of a rising epidemic. What do you attribute to the growth?
I just believe that people, they see the need.
All right.
And unfortunately, I don't want to be the organization that grows because of circumstance, but actually that's what it is.
Right.
We having all these, police interactions with our young men.
Right.
So we need to set the stage. We need to set a precedent of, okay, how are you supposed to act in the case where law enforcement pull you over?
Right.
Do you exemplify? Do you react how you see the videos are doing, or can we show you a different alternative? And not saying that it's going to be perfect and the situation may come out, but we want to give you the best opportunity, the best option that you need to do in case that happens.
Exactly.
So that's what we want to do. Yeah. So I think that's the reason why it's growing. I was just talking to Ron on the break. He was asking how many boys we have signed up. I said, well, we have about almost 100 right now.
That is awesome. All right.
We slated for 200.
All right.
And they've been calling in, like I said, parents have football teams. They want to bring the old football team.
That is awesome. Yes. I know, because you know what? It'll start at, 100 young men, and next thing you know, it'll be 1 million young men, just like the Million Man March. So I embrace that vision with you, and I definitely pray for that. And Mr. Nelson, we want to bring you in. How are you this evening?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. So let me ask you, what has inspired you about being a mentor, and how did you get started?
Well, pretty much the same way that Mr. Scott is. I've been in education, going on almost 40 years now.
Wow.
So, at the various levels from high schools to 2-year institutions, 4-year institutions. Currently, I'm in the D.C. public school system and the charter system for probably 15 years now. So, ironically, I met DeHavon's mom. I worked with her back in high school, way back. So, it was kind of like, really strange that ultimately we got into this endeavor together.
Yes.
So, again, we just try to reiterate what he said. We both encounter some of the same issues, see some of the same issues that are impacting our young males in particular, and would like to really be a little proactive in trying to use our collective experiences and ages and whatnot to try to convey just what the whole concept of masculinity is right now for our young men, and try to portray it in a positive manner, making them realize that they do have this within them.
Amen.
And they just probably need someone to really just help extract that, that time that's in the rough.
All right. Well, you know what? And I don't want to put you on the spot, but as long as you're comfortable to answer, you've been in the school system for a very long time. And I'm sure you have seen a huge dynamic of changes, from year to year to year. What do you see that, used to be, we will say in your day or when you first started out in the school system, and where we've kind of gotten lost to where we are now? What do you attribute to some of those issues?
Yeah, I think, it was a confluence of factors. I don't think it's really one factor.
One thing.
Se. I can possibly kind of attribute some when I sort of the change occurring was maybe, I'm saying, early 80s when the crack epidemic started hitting urban areas, and that's when I started seeing some of the things that led to deterioration of things in our community and whatnot. So it was that. I saw that and a number of things. There's a plethora of stuff that's going on right now in our communities. Issues like gentrification, drug abuse. So again, it's been a lot of different things that have occurred over the past period of 30 years that have brought us to where we are now.
Wow. Yeah, it definitely has. When we talk about it, we see it in the news. Often it's sensationalized, especially in our community, when something takes place, which, is sad because, propaganda, which is, our media, the one thing that they don't see is a lot of the positive, which is what they should see, young black men going out and making a difference, having, some people, and this is just real talk, don't even realize that black people have, mothers and fathers and professional individuals in their home, because sometimes all they're exposed to, I live in Georgia, okay, so a lot of times all anybody in other races, and I talk to my friends who are white, I talk to, my friends who are of different races, and if they didn't have, me to be able to correct some, stereotypes that they've had their whole life, then they would continue thinking that based on just what they see on TV, and things that are perpetuated in the news. A lot of times you'll only see what black young men do that's wrong, and so I really, again, these kinds of programs are so important because it sometimes, feels like a setup for failure when it's really not, So with that being said, we have this huge weekend coming up, and I want you to be able to tell us about that weekend, DeHavon. Last year it was a huge success. What are you expecting this year? And tell them, where it's going to be and how it all came about.
All right, well, good. That's a good question. I'm glad you asked. So last year, like I said, was the launch of the mentoring program in Power Now. So this year we're expecting bigger and better. Like I just got finished saying that we are expecting more boys to be registered. We already had 100. We'll be slated for 2.
All right.
So it's a 3-day weekend that is going to equip our young men to manage their own success and to be standouts in their community. So the first, the first day is June the 24th, is our mentoring kickoff concert. We
Okay.
always start off with a kickoff concert. I know you guys are here, your guys today in Georgia. We're here in the Maryland area, D.C. area.
All right, DC, Maryland
we have-
representing.
Again?
I said DC, Maryland representing.
Amen. So we have a concert we have featuring True Potential Gospel Go-Go Band.
All
Go-Go
right.
is a real big draw music up here, and our boys love it. So they're real good, anointed gospel go-go band. We will kick off our mentoring concert. And that concert, really why I started the weekend with a concert, because I wanted the boys to see that there are other men, I want to emphasize men,
Yes.
who are saved, and they can still have a good time in Jesus' name. And I want them to see so everybody on the program, from the praise and worship leader to the musicians, to the other ones that we have in the program, they're all African American men. They're young, some old. So I want them to see that.
Right.
So that's from 7 to 10 on the 24th. The 25th are our interactive workshops.
All right.
And I'm going to tell you some of the names of them that we have. I'm reading off, so please forgive me.
That's okay.
Our first workshop is into the music. So we know a lot of our young boys are into music. They a lot of them want to rap or
Right.
sing or what have you. So we just want to give them a perspective on behind the music. Pretty much, if you don't rap, what else you can do besides that? You can produce. You can learn how to play instruments.
Yes.
It's a lot in someone picking up an instrument and learning how to play it. It develops discipline, self-esteem. So we want to kind of bring that all in. So it's real good. I have a young man who's going to come. He's going to do a whole piece on behind the music.
That's great.
Also, we have how do you dress? We want to teach our fellas how to dress for success. And you see that I'm in the suit. I'm always pretty much in the suit. I do my little caveat. I do professional styling. So actually,
Right.
that's kind of part of this too. Styles by D. Scott falls all under that, because I want to help young men to dress them that it's more than just what you say out of your mouth. It's how you look.
Yes, and I wanted you to expound on that a little bit later before we go. I definitely wanted you to hit that. Yes, sir.
Very good. And then our next one is, are you disciplined? I'm going to let Ron Nelson talk about that. He is heading up that workshop. So you can tell us what you're going to be doing.
Right. That works primarily going to involve a couple of things. I've been a martial artist for a number of years, almost 40 years. And what I plan on doing is to just repeat a seminar we did last year. I'm a practitioner of Filipino martial arts.
Wow.
So what I'm planning on doing is having kids introducing some of the basic martial arts, giving them some information on just that's involved, the character that's developed through the martial arts, and just have a real interactive session with them. So we get a chance to utilize some of the weapons I'm going to be showing them. Just have a good time with the boys.
And then our next workshop is what does it take to be a leader? So we're going to have someone to lead up that workshop. Then our last one is get fit.
All right.
Make sure our African American boys that we stay fit. We know that high blood pressure is high in our community.
Yes, it is.
And I'm probably gonna be in that workshop too, because I know I need to work out more. I hear that all the time from my fiance and some other people. But we want to make sure that we instill healthy eating habits, and the importance of exercise as it relates to African American males. That we have to do that. We need to stay alive, so that's what we need to do. So those are some of our workshops that we're going to have on that day. And then we'll close out on that Sunday at 8:30 at Redeeming the Time Ministry, which is my home church, which is in Bowie, Maryland, and that's 3209 Stony Brook Drive, Bowie, Maryland. And that's a panel discussion. It's called The Decline of the Black Male.
Wow.
So it's not going to even be like a regular service. My father, he's a pastor. He's allowed us to open the doors and do what we need to do for that particular particular day. So it's not going to
Amen.
really be a regular service, but it's going to almost be like a talk show, per se. And we want the community just to come ask some of the panelists questions of what's going on with the decline of the black male. You know, we want them to ask questions, and we'll try to see if we can have some solutions to go along with that.
Wow, that is, I mean, an amazing lineup that you have. Definitely structured toward growth and development, which I think is so key and so important. And, you know, you're tackling a lot of major issues in our community, which is so important. Like you said, health and wellness. I'm even on that kick, so I know exactly what you mean. And you feel better when you start eating right, and when you do exercise, you just feel more empowered. And I think that is so important for our young men. And you know, martial arts is cool. You know, in their mind, that's fly. You know, they think they the young Bruce Lees of America. So I think that is just such a great way of, you know, reeling them in and really honing in on interests that they would have. And so it's going to be this weekend. The weekend of June the 24th. It's going to be power packed. I mean, definitely. So you still have slots available for people to be able to utilize.
Absolutely.
Great.
They can register at our Eventbrite YMW 2016 Eventbrite.com.
All right.
They can go and register.
Okay, well, you know I'm going to push that out for you as well. We're going to take a short break before we conclude with our show, but I want you to tell us about your styling when we come back, because that is definitely something that's important. And yes, you are fly up here on television, so you know we need to know how to look fly every day. That is so important for our young men, because I'm going to tell you, one of my biggest pet peeves, I cannot stand sagging pants. Period. I just get agitated by it. So I'm definitely glad that we have, you know, this in place. But you guys, we're gonna take a quick break, listen to the sounds of 108 Praise Radio, and when we get back, we will talk about that. You are listening to 108 Praise Radio, the Angela Foxworth Show, and we will be right back in just a few.